Hey guys, Justin here from Canadian Outdoor Enthusiast. Welcome to part 3 of deer tanning. We finished doing the scraping. We've stretched it up on our rack, our drying rack. The final scraping has been done, has been dried. It's almost up to the point that it's cured right now, but we won't let it totally cure because we want to get it prepped up for brain tanning. So right now what we're going to do is we'll show you the process on how to remove the brains. There's different ways on how you can do this. Some people use a saw, a hatchet, all sorts of different tools. We're going to use the old-fashioned hatchet today. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're getting ready. We're going to chop this deer head open. We're just going to go with the normal hatchet. So here we go. Okay, so with this chop here, obviously I didn't really get to the point I can get exposed to the brain, so I just gotta I have a little bit more chopping to go. So here we go. I'm gonna put on some safety goggles just in case. It's always good to be prepared. There we are. Okay. So now, here are the brains. They're still a bit frozen. We just gotta scoop these out, and then we're gonna boil in some water. I'll show you about the proper amount you should use. You need to get the proper consistency. That's all. That's the only trick to it. It can't be too liquidy. It can't be too thick like oatmeal. It's got to be just in between. I'd say like nice home chicken soup. It's not quite open yet, so we're gonna have to crack it open a little bit more. Brains. I'm just going to scoop those out. In the pot it goes. So good. Let's see. So there you have it. Brains in the pot. We're gonna chop this up a bit more, just so it cooks a little bit better, and we're gonna add some water. Okay, so now we've removed the brains from the deer head. Now we've, instead of chopping them off into small pieces, I decided to sacrifice an old blender. That's the way to go if you want to speed up the process. You can use one of the kitchen, but just make sure your wife doesn't catch you, or at least replace it after you're done. So now, blender, we got some water in there. As you can see, it's a little bit more than half and half. It will be boiled down, but that's about what you want to start off with. I decided to put water right away to blend it with, so it blends a little bit easier. So we'll just blend this up a bit. Good. It's almost like a brain smoothie. That would be nice. Alright, so we're going to start boiling this down. Make sure you don't put your finger on the buttons. I hope if I can unlock this thing. There we go.
All honesty, guys, if you're gonna use the blender, don't use your kitchen blender. If not, your wife will give you divorce papers the next day. Or just tell her you'll buy her a brand new one, one that costs twice as much, and she'll be happy. Yeah.
Make sure you're stainless.
So Justin is just boiling this up?
Yeah, I'm just going to boil this down so it gets to a little bit better consistency. Just to remove a bit of that water. And then that's about that. Once it's souped up, you just start laying, we're going to lay that rack flat on the ground, as you can see right now. We're going to put it flat on the ground. Then we're going to start spreading that all over the hide and massaging it into the hide. And do a few layers of that. Once you've completed 4 or 5 layers, you can just leave it there to dry for 24 hours. Maybe put a plastic on top. Keep things moist so it really embeds into the skin. And then that's about that, you know. Then the next day, come over, take it off, rinse them down if you need to. But you got to do some more scraping after that, okay? Because of all the brain fat, the brain fat elements from the brain leaves a kind of small little residue which needs to be scraped off, because if not, it'll rot. So scrape that off again. You're done. You're going to be ready for stretching and then smoking. Okay, so now we're doing our final prepping stages before we're doing the brain tanning. As you can see, the hide right now, it's pretty much all done scraping down. There's no more meat, no more fat. As you can see, the darker parts over here, this is just a little residue membrane that's still left there. That technically should be taken off, okay, before you go ahead. But we're going to scrape this down before we're done, before we go ahead with the brain tanning. So once you've gotten that done, then you're ready. This tool that I'm using is just an improvised, it's basically a drywall putty tool, and I've cut it down halfway and then rounded the tip and basically just made a scraper out of it, bend the edge, so, and it works great. So that's what you want to do, scrape it down completely, take off the membrane, and it's ready for brain tanning. We're almost done. I'm just going to finish up this small little part, and then we're going to go ahead with the tanning part. So give me a minute, we'll do that. Layer of this brain mixture that we've made. You're going to smear it all over, and you want to massage this into the hide. going to give it a good coat all over first, so it can start soaking in there.
Now, Justin, while you're doing that, the principle of this is for the
preservation of your hide, the preservation of the hide and also the fur. If you don't do this step, the brain tanning, your fur is going to start peeling off on you, and you don't want that. There's also as a final step for preservation purposes is smoking. You have to smoke your hide. So a trick is, the old Aboriginal way, is you would sew this hide all together and make a balloon out of it and leave one hole at the end. And that hole, you'll fit it in top of a chimney where you're burning a small fire. All you need is a bit of smoke. Smoke the hide. You gotta stay there and stoke the fire. Make sure it's not too hot so it burns the hide. Just gotta get that right temperature, right smokage.
So if your wife lets you put it in the barbecue smoker?
Yeah, it could work.
Now, my question to you while you're soaking it with the brain liquid that we made is, couldn't you just put like vegetable oil instead?
Nope. You could do that afterwards once you're all done with your hide, and the oil will just give it good moisturizer. It'll preserve it, and it'll preserve it, sure, because it keeps it moist and it won't, be dry and brittle and crack on you. But for the actual preservation, I don't know. The Aboriginal has been using this for thousands of years, actually, literally thousands of years. So this is a very old technique, textbook. You can't really get closer to this to your roots. This is what they've been doing for thousands of years of how to actually properly cure your hide and tan it, so it can be used for a multiple range of purposes. So this is how you do it. You could go chemicals. I mean, they do sell stuff online, chemicals that to treat and tan your hide and to peel off the fur and whatnot. There's different ways. Even peeling off the fur. I'll show you another episode how to get all that done into leather. So that will require the peelage of the fur. There's different ways to do that. Some people use chemicals. You can use urine. It's basically an acid. You can use water and ash. Ash will actually work as an indicator that will actually remove the fur for some weird reason. But there's different ways.
So you're teaching us the roots, the Aboriginal way.
I'm trying to, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get close as possible to the original way it was used. Because one way or the other, if you're out in the bush, you don't have any chemicals, you don't have any of this or whatnot. You're going to want to know how to do it the old-fashioned way, the old way by the native way. Because you use only what's around you, and that's it, and you make it work.
So how much of that juice that you got left? Not much, eh?
I got maybe half a cup now. So what you do is you keep, rubbing it in, massage. And what I'm going to do is later, once it's all nice and soaked, I'm going to put a plastic bag on top of this, or a plastic cover, just to keep it even more sealed up, more moistened, to give the chance to really those skin pores to absorb this liquid.
So you're just gonna rub it till there's nothing left?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Now, every animal has enough brain to tan its own skin. If you decide to do or have the interest in doing deer tanning or any type of tanning that is, and if you don't have by chance brains, You could always go to your local butcher shop or the grocery store and ask for pig brains. You can actually buy them by the pound, so, and those will work just as fine, just as good.
Tell you one thing though, Justin, while you were boiling that or simmering it, the smell wasn't very nice.
It smelled like old sausage.
Old sausage? More like boiling dirty socks. And while Justin is doing this right now, if you guys have any questions on why and how and the steps, please leave comments below. Justin, will you answer them?
Oh, for sure, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of different ways to do this, but I'm just trying to do the old Aboriginal way. I mean, of course, they probably even did this in a different way, I mean, but there's a little bit of modern mixed with old traditional style. So, hope you still like it. As long as you get the same results. That's what matters.
I can see the hide starting to soften a bit. It was all dried up and hard.
Yeah, that was.
You can actually see it.
That was hard. The reason why I let it dry it up a bit is because I wanted the hide to have its most maximum capability of soaking up all of this brain matter. Because before it was filled up with water. That's why it was so flexible and heavy. But now I got the time to dry up a bit after a couple of days. As you said, you see it softening up. Later on, the next step we'll have to do is if you want this hide to be pliable, like a blanket, we're going to have to do some work with it and stretch it and stuff.
A little small for a blanket, but I get the picture.
Yeah.
Maybe a foot blanket.
Maybe a foot blanket.
Or your little snuggie.
Or maybe, yeah, figure something out. Could be even be a nice little display mat of some sort, you know?
Well, to be honest, I might get you to make me one and I could use it as a nice gun rack, or not a gun rack, but a table mat for my guns when I do some videos.
There you go. That's an idea. So there you have it. This is how you do the brain tanning. We're almost done. We're going to keep on rubbing, keep massaging it until it's pretty much all worked in. And then I'm going to let it cover over with some plastic. Just keep the humidity in there. Leave it overnight for 24 hours. Come the next day. Got to do a lot more scraping. As you can see, there's a lot. I got a lot more work on this. So once the scraping is all done, we got to do some stretching. And I'll show you the techniques and the ways I go about on doing this.